We were looking yesterday at the models and we are seeing more and more this low that's expected to go up through the north is going to slide back down and around and maybe impact Manitoba for sure. The models are still not sure about Saskatchewan. Well, today I got some good news. Although it comes with a bunch of wind at the head of it, we do have precipitation coming to our target fire areas this weekend in Saskatchewan. It's the good news. Share the good news, everybody. Let's go. There it is. This is bad news.
My God.
This is life.
Anything could happen.
Get us!
Wow. I'll watch the video later. Thanks for up in this. Caribou Weather Dude YouTube channel. Hit like, share, subscribe. You won't get analysis like this on fire weather from any other channel on YouTube in Canada. I can guarantee you that. For those of you who don't know, I spent a lot of my life as a firefighter, both contract, wildland firefighter, municipal firefighter. I've been a training officer in the brigade here, and I've also worked industrial as a firefighter. So I know quite a bit about fire, actually. I'm a bit of a weather specialist, too. I've spent my entire life studying weather and chasing tornadoes and thunderstorms and things like that. So that's a little bit about the wilderness man up here in the Caribou Mountains. If you didn't know already, hit like, share, subscribe, join the channel if you would. Okay, let's get on with the talk. If you've been watching me for a while, you've known that we've had this upper level low pattern in the Gulf of Alaska. Well, what's happening right now is this high pressure bulge is giving us a nice ridge that will make things nice and warm for British Columbia. Why is that important for Saskatchewan? Well, here's why. Because generally our lows have tried to come into the province. Now this ridging is not allowing it. It's making it go up and north and around. And originally models had it look like it was going to go to the same location that our last low went through that brought all the wind and made for all the massive fire growth in Saskatchewan. However, the good news is right now we're seeing a departure from that. Because of a couple reasons. We got the high pressure kind of maintaining itself up in the north, and that's helping push that storm down. So here we see, boom, that's what we're going to be talking about right there, that little anomaly you just saw. Now we're going to start the animation one more time and talk you through it. Okay, so here's the flow heading up into the Gulf of Alaska, heading up into Alaska, breaking through into northern British Columbia. That's going to start a low here. The backside of that's going to make for a major wind event that's going to start in the Peace region. Maybe later today we'll start seeing those winds pick up. We're going to see fire activity in the Peace region of BC and Alberta picking up. And they're going to be the beneficiary of the dry part of the low, whereas Saskatchewan more and more, boom, there it goes. It's looking like it's going to be in the wet part of the low this weekend. We got good news for the fires in Manitoba this weekend. We got good news for the fires in Saskatchewan. So talk you through this now. As you can see, the low is trying to establish itself up there in the Yukon, Northwest Territory border area. It's been forced to take a northerly route because our high pressure off the coast here has become quite dug in. 1033, that's high pressure right now is established itself. We can see the low that's caused all the trouble this week is now finding its way to Quebec. It's completely moved out of the area. We're seeing high pressure reestablish itself in the prairies. Things are getting warm and dry there. So increased fire activity for a couple of days is still the thing. And when this low comes through, I'm concerned ahead of it about the wind. So we're going to see some fires take some runs, I think, at first. Here's the wind. You can see how tight these isobars are, especially on the backside. You can see the winds are really, really rocking into the Peace area, up to Fort Nelson, up even in the Northwest Territories and Iqaluit as well. And here we go. We can see northern sections of Saskatchewan and Manitoba take the rain first there. Here we come on Saturday. Watch the low start to sink on down the backside of it. Although windy. So we got wind problems. We're going to see some fires run a little bit in the wind. But the good news is we're going to have rain come and cool things down. It's the first appreciable rain in some time in some of those target regions of the fire. You can see, bam, right on there. So with any luck, they'll take the maximum amount of precipitation. That would be good news. And then we see that low move over to Ontario and then establish itself there to start next week. There it is, sitting there, 994, pretty strong low. And we see warmth all across Western Canada. Western Canada is going to be warm still for the foreseeable future, but this at least will help Saskatchewan out with a little bit of precip. So here we say today, the high pressure's begun to establish itself pretty good. We can see the low is moving off that we had this weekend come across. We can see the new low is trying to form, this time farther north instead of come right through BC like it did last weekend, which was very cold and miserable for us. Of course, some precipitation is being steered in by this high, so we will see in BC a little bit of rain this afternoon in the interior, the north interior, more like North Caribou, Quesnel, Prince George, all areas that might see a shower or two, maybe even a flash of lightning if the heat can make for enough instability. So you can see that low trying to develop itself, trying to get stronger, trying to get bigger. Strong winds on the backside there into Thursday evening, picking up already northern BC. Southern Peace get the strong winds first, then it starts to filter all the way up. And so the Peace has got a number of days of strong winds, and this is going to come in right after this low. We're going to be watching that to see what it can do for winds. So it's quite possible we're going to have a couple wind events hit BC fires. So it looks like BC's turn for burn is here now, while Saskatchewan is going to get some good news. Now look at here, the southerlies are really pushing up. So we're going to see some really strong winds ahead of this on Friday. So that's the outlier that I'm really concerned about. Before we get this, look at the wind across Western Canada we're looking at. And these are just steadies. These are steady winds, 30 steadies down the line, 25s to 30s over in the Peace. Look at Saskatchewan, 20s on the steadies. Look at central Alberta heading north, 20s. Northern Alberta heading 20s. Even into Manitoba, stronger winds on that front section of that low. And the wind gusts are going to be even more concerning. We're going to see that pick up. But look at this. I mean, it's really catastrophically bad news for Fort Nelson area and for the Peace. We're looking at fire growth being extreme there, Alberta as well. I would think, and we're going to see fires in Saskatchewan do things that we don't want to do still yet as this windstorm picks up across Western Canada. So we have some good news, of course, but this windstorm is going to make for another one. So first we see lightning through northern Alberta, see a little bit of rain up in the target area of BC. That would be good news. If some of those fires get running too much, can take a little bit of rain. That looks like it's going to be pretty close to those target fires for BC. So we're hoping for a little bit of rain on BC fires. That would be great. Meanwhile, though, northern Saskatchewan, northern Manitoba taking some happy rainfall, but the winds are the concern because we're still in that dry slot. So we're going to see fires take a run, I think, in some cases pushing north. Going to see erratic winds, though, because like this, what happens to the low? On the front side is, as they go clockwise, counterclockwise, I should say, the front side's pulling to the south. The back side, though, is pulling westerlies, while the bottom side's pulling westerlies, the back side's pulling the northerlies down. So that's not great news, but look at how some of the precip starts to work its way in as we get that heavy wind starts to become more and more a factor. Here's where we're looking at some of the rain coming through. Do we get some rain? Come on. We can see where all our target fires are. If BC takes a little bit of rain, it won't be very much. So the active burning will continue in BC. But look at the rain coming for Saskatchewan. Now there is the possibility that some lightning might be involved in this and might make for some more fires. I think right now you take that risk to have some of this heavy rain hitting directly onto the fire at La Ronge. Great news. Look at that heavy band of precip. If that comes through, it's completely good news for those fires. The campfire, the shoe fire, going to take hard rain. So you got to get through the winds on Friday to get the rain. I know that sucks. Manitoba getting more blessed. Yeah, they've had a whole bunch of rain hit this fire, the Ken fire by Ontario. So look at some of that precip totals. Cross Lake going to hit some rain too. That's great news for everybody. So we're going to see a little bit of a change in the fire behavior for at least a few days after that. We'll see how much that rain can put down. I don't think it's enough rain to put fires out. I think people have this idea that, you just put some rain on it and then the fires are out. Well, no, that's not how it works. They'll live underground. They'll come back. They'll hide for a little while. They'll be suppressed and reduced, but a lot of those fires are not going to be done despite this. But this will buy valuable time. It'll buy valuable time. And of course, we got winds on the backside of the low too. So we're playing with a little bit of fire there. But if we can get through this period with some rain on our fires, oh my God, that's such good news. Over the course of the weekend, what are we looking at? And of course, we'll come back to this again and again and again. So this is ECMWF. Now I looked at all models, GFS, showing it right on. So yesterday we had GFS models showing it missing the fire, and I said we'll wait to see if there's some confirmation as the models tighten up. Now, the models have tightened up now. Now we have a pretty good idea that, I'm sorry, I just got the hiccups. All the major models, here's Icon 2, all the major models showing rain icon showing very generous in southern Manitoba. So I think you want that. A little less so for GFS, a little less so for ECMWF, but a little bit more than GFS for southern parts of Manitoba. But the farmers need the rain there. These fires need the rain. And if we get some of this total on some of our fires, now ECMWF, like I said, seems to have some pretty high numbers in and around our targets, but everywhere taking 20 mils or more, it seems like, in that target zone. And if we, like I say, jump over to GFS now, what's it saying? Well, we can hope for this because this puts more of the heavy rain on these fires, up to 30 mils in those locations. Well, what's Icon saying? Kind of again, a little bit in between. It has a little less on our Flin Flon fire, a little bit better to the north there, but still seeing rain on our target fire. So there's rain coming in southern Manitoba. Look at this, 63 mils. If this happens, this will be nuts. So this is a pretty unpredictable situation where modelers were showing it, taking the track of the last one up towards Arviat, and instead now we're seeing this dive on down, and we'll take it. As far as Alberta and BC goes, not a whole lot of rain coming for you unless you're more coasty type people. Maybe on the north coast you'll get a little bit there, but no, it looks like BC largely staying dry for the next bunch of days. Temperatures rebounding. Well, that's the bad news, is if we get through that rainy period, we are going to come back into active fire weather, going to come back into warmer temperatures, and we're going to see that humidity start to drop down there. So we're hoping that this can buy some time, reduce fire activity for a little while enough that they can make some progress on some of these fires, get ahead on some of these areas, attack areas that were too dangerous to attack not that long ago, because you know what happens is the fire activity is too extreme, so people just can't do anything. You just can't do anything but sit there and watch it go on by you. Well, once the fire activity is reduced and you're seeing rank 1, 2, 3 fire behavior on your line instead of rank 3, 4, 5, and 6, well, now you're looking at better opportunities to have success. And just a quick look at the story as we are getting closer to the afternoon hour for us here in BC. It's already the afternoon out there, so we're starting to see fires correspondingly behave with the afternoon. We're seeing quite a bit of activity still filling in the burned areas. So these fires took a bit of a run the other day, and now we're seeing some of the areas that didn't get burnt off in the run internally burning. There's some of that. Things have been pretty bad for the Ronge. Yeah, we've got fire activity right through and onto town over the last couple days. Look like this flank's showing some active burning, but not too crazy there yet. I'm sure if we look a little bit later today, but look at these north areas are showing a lot of heat still. A lot of heat over at Santo, a lot of heat at Knee. Look at this. Jay Smith is starting to wake up again. It's been quiet for a couple days, so we're seeing hot spots start to wake up and see some heat in that area. Seeing more heat waking up now in our Flin Flon fire again. This is bad news because look at that's a lot of the flank that's close to town. So we're hoping that these winds don't whip things up into catastrophe for Flin Flon and for La Ronge and other places like that. We're very concerned about that. Of course, over here on the Saskatchewan side, some of these communities are still holding out. So we're concerned. But, I mean, look at the fire growth over the last couple of days. I mean, these fires have gone absolutely crazy. This Pelican fire, these are mega fires now. Pelican and Narrows itself, not too much activity around town, but Pelican fire has joined Wolf fire, has joined all these other fires, and we're seeing a lot of activity start to uptick now in the Manitoba side. Things are starting to dry out a little bit there, starting to get more warmer weather now. We're going to see for the next couple of days active burning, especially as we're looking at that wind that's coming in. We're seeing some active hot spots start to wake up in the north there, although pretty quiet at our friends up there in Lynn Lake. Pretty quiet. Genpeg there area, seeing a lot of activity on the other side there. That's sort of newish for me, it feels like. Okay, and then how much activity we have down by the Manitoba-Ontario border. A little bit, some hot spots showing some behavior there. Conditions have been down for a day or two there as well. So that's kind of what we're looking at right now. I expect to see the strong winds are going to push these fires. So we're going to see some growth before we see it get sat down. That's it's good news, but it's not all good news, folks. We have some really challenging conditions ahead still. And I'll make sure to have as much details as I can on it. Make sure you come to the podcast tonight here on the channel, 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time is when we start. And the podcast is where we go through everything with our team of geeks and whatnot. Of course, hoping that Justin from Weather Center Manitoba will be back on with us tonight. I know we have somebody who's looking for their son who's gone missing, I think is going to check in. So there's some stories there. Right. And then, of course, the fabulous Frankie McDonald, as per usual. Hit like, share, subscribe. I'll do my best to keep you in the loop. Okay, bye now.